Hi friends, this is Muhammad Jibran and welcome to our C# tutorials. In this video, I'm going to explain you about the iterative statements or the looping techniques. To explain you that, consider a scenario where you would like to do a particular task more than one time. So suppose right now I would like to print hello world 10 times on my console. So right now what we know, according to that, what can I do is I will just simply write console oops console dot write line. I will say hello world. Okay, so if I write this, it will print it one time, and if I do it 10 times, it will do it 10 times. Okay, let's go with 5 times only. Okay, so I will say console dot read line. Okay, now if I would run my application, as you all know, it will display the hello world for 5 times. Okay, so that's it. But in the previous video I have shown you we don't like to write the repetitive codes again and again. Okay, as you can see, we are every time we are like writing the same statement. So what can I do for that? And imagine I want to print this 1,000 times. So will I be writing this same line 1,000 times? No, that's not an intelligent solution for the our question. Okay, so what we will be doing is we will use an method or a technique known as iterative technique. So to apply that, we will be using one of the famous techniques or the famous methods, that is for loop. Okay, so the syntax for loop will be very odd or very awkward when you see it for the first time, but as you just go on practicing it, it will make sense to you and it will not be a big deal for you. Okay, so just pay close attention towards it. What I am doing, let's say int I equals 0. Say int I should be less than 10 I plus plus. Okay, so this was simple, and I will say over here console dot write line. I will say him to hello world. Okay, now as you can see, I have written this line only one time, but if I execute my application, you will see the difference. You see, it the hello world has been printed 10 times. Okay, so what's the difference in the previous code and this code? Well, we have used this for iterations. What is this? This is a looping technique which will work according to your initialization. As you can see, I am declaring something over here as integer I, whose value initially is a 0. Okay, so it will the value of 0 should be less than 10. Obviously you will say the 0 is obviously less than 10, but what is this I plus plus? Actually what is happening, whenever we are printing this hello world, we are incrementing I by 1. Suppose when this code starts executing, the value of I is 0, then after checking it with the 10, we increment it. Okay, so increment it by 1. I plus 1 or I plus plus is the incrementing operator, which means I plus 1. Okay, this is same as saying I plus plus. Okay, so this is what we are writing. We are writing I plus 1 over there, and that's what we are doing. So I was 0 initially, and 0 plus 1 means 1. So for that value of I, console dot write line will be printed. Okay, then the value of I will become 1, and it will again be getting checked with 10. Okay, for the next iteration, and then it will still again get it will be getting incremented by 1, which means 1 plus 1, that is 2. Again this statement will be printed out. Okay, so like this it will go on till it reaches 9. When it reaches 9, the value of I reaches 9, and it completes its execution, and the uh, 9 plus 1 will become 10, and this code will again be starting with the value of I as 10. Then this condition will return false, so this code will not execute. So let me use our breakpoint and explain you what do I mean by that. Let me run the application again. So initially, as you can see, my I value is 0. I will step into it. It is checking, and that condition is true, so my code will be getting executed. It says hello world, and out of for loop I is getting incremented, so the value of I for the next time will be I plus 1, that is 1. Okay, so now if I check the value of I, it's 1, you can see. And then next time if I go, it goes again, it prints that, and it will, you see, till now 2 hello worlds has been printed. Okay, so next time prints again, you just keep on checking the value of I. Right now it's 3, so it will go till 9. You see, it's getting printed. Now the value of I is 6, 7, 8, and this one is the last one, that will be 9. Okay, so now this is the last time this code will get executed, and as soon as it gets incremented, this condition fails. Okay, the value of I is 10 now, and 10 is not less than 10, so it will come out of my for loop. As you can see, console.readline. So this is how the for loop works. Okay, but for the beginners, the syntax for loop is quite annoying. They just can't remember the for loop syntax. So for their convenience, I will show you a simple way to get the correct format of for loop. So what you need to do is just type the for and hit the tab key 2 times, and the syntax will come in front of you by like that. And suppose in place of I you want something else like sum, you can, after writing that, just hit enter, and everything changes to sum. Now you can define your loop with whatever limit you want. You can do whatever you want. It depends on you how you can modify your iterative statement. And I will show you one more example of iterative statements. What suppose if I have some variables like x and y. Okay, and what I will do is I will initialize my y as 1, and I will say my x to be equal as y plus 1. Okay, so what I will be doing over here is